Have you ever felt guilty for resting? Trick question. I know. Everybody has. Like, seriously, everybody has. We all know these days, these weekends, where we just want to sit on a couch. And then when we sit on a couch, we're like, actually, I should be doing this. Like, why am I sitting on this couch? Like, I haven't even achieved XYZ goal. Why am I just sitting here? Why am I allowing myself to just be lazy? No, I can't be lazy. I can't do this. I need to work. If that is the case for you, if any of these scenarios sound familiar, stay tuned because this video is gonna change your life. We are gonna talk about why you shouldn't feel guilty for resting, and I'm gonna give you tips on how to never ever feel guilty for resting again. Hi, I'm Chrisi. I'm a trainer and coach for high achievers who want to find their balance between achieving their ambitious vision, but also being a human being and enjoying life. Here, we redefine success, we redefine productivity, and we redefine how we work, because I personally believe that we do not need burnout in order to achieve our goals. And we still get to be human on the side while we're still building our amazing big vision. I would say let's dive right into the video now. I know you have seen at least 1,000 quotes on how rest is efficient and how rest is productive, and mentally you know that you need to rest more. So why do you still feel guilty for resting? Why can't you rest? Very simple and sad answer. We live in a society that is based on doing, that is based on working, that is based on being efficient. What does that mean for us? It means if we put this on a graph, you always need to do more, and you always need to do better, and you always need to do more, and you always need to do better, and basically the line is a straight linear line up, right? In order to be successful and to achieve your dreams, you need to do and you need to work. In this line, there's no rest included, because rest is laziness. Rest is when you are done with your goals. It's literally this whole system that we built with retirement basically is saying you work until you can't anymore, and then as an award, as a prize, you get to rest for the rest of your life, right? So even this basic system that we've set up is based on this whole concept of you do, and then you get to rest. So of course, subconsciously, success and productivity is linked to doing and not being and not resting. There's no space for that. So whenever you sit down and whenever you feel like you need rest and you actually want to give yourself that rest, the immediate thoughts of, oh my God, I shouldn't rest, and oh my God, I can't achieve my goals this way, they come up because we have set up systems, we have set up a society that doesn't acknowledge rest as part of the process. And that is the problem. And I can tell you 100 different times that rest is part of the process, you're still not gonna get it because you're not wired that way. There's a huge difference between mentally understanding why resting is important and actually embodying it and implementing it. And I'm gonna talk about those two different things today. We start with the mental understanding, because maybe you have seen it many times that rest is productive, but you still don't really understand why. So I want to make sure that you also understand, but then I know that most of you do know that it is essential and that it is not a luxury. So for you guys, I'm going to talk about how you can actually implement this and embody this and how this is going to benefit you in the second half of the video. So let's talk about the physical benefits of rest first, because the thing is, when you rest, your body and your mind are not doing nothing. They're actually working way more than you ever will. Like, seriously. Your mind and your body are working while you are resting, because they are restoring, they are re-energizing, they're doing all the things that need to happen behind the scenes for you to feel energized, for you to perform at your peak, for you to re-energize all the functions that you need to be a proper human. let's start with your body. When you rest, your body goes to repairing cells, right? So actually what's happening, it's this like internal maintenance mode that is going to get turned on while you're actually sitting on the couch, while you're napping, while you're sleeping, while you're doing all different kinds of rest. You should definitely watch the 7 types of rest videos that I have created for you guys just to understand the differences. But basically, when you rest, your body is doing all of these different things to ensure that you are healthy. And that is only happening when you are resting. That is not happening when you're scrolling on your phone. It is not happening when you skip sleep. It is not happening when you're working 23 hours out of a 24-hour day, right? It's not happening. When you rest, what is happening is that your cells are getting repaired and they're actually growing. Your immune system gets the support that it needs for you to stay healthy. You're preventing injuries. And then the best thing out of everything is that when you rest, it lowers your stress hormone, which means that it will prevent you from burning out. So you need rest in order to not burn out, which sounds like, duh, yeah, makes sense. But still, a lot of people don't do this. But if you do that, if you rest, that is actually what's going to happen. You'll naturally lower your cortisol, your stress hormone, which will prevent burnout from happening, which will then, as a result, get you to your goals in a healthy way, emotionally, physically, mentally healthy, and you still get to enjoy your goals. Now, let's talk about the mental benefits for your brain when you are resting. Because guess what? Your brain is doing more work than you could ever do. When you rest, your brain is organizing, it's sorting, it's filtering information. It's doing all of this work for you again to perform at your best. So give your brain the time that it needs to do this kind of work. So what are the benefits for your brain when you rest? First thing, memory consolidation, meaning that you actually have better memory when you rest because your brain has all the time to process and store information where it needs to go. Next thing is you're going to have improved focus and concentration. When you rest, it makes you sharper and it makes you focused in the moment. And that is exactly what we need to be efficient and to be productive, right? The next thing, and this is one of the most important things, when you rest, you'll actually give your mind the time to regulate and manage your emotions. And that is needed so that you are less reactive and more balanced. That is exactly what you need to feel out all the emotions instead of bottling them up, because that will have an effect on your productivity and efficiency. So we want to rest because we want to regulate and feel our emotions. And the next thing is it will enhance your creativity, because what you're doing is when you rest and you finally don't have any actual to-dos or any goals or any kind of rules in your head of what you need to do, that is where your mind can finally go to places where it can be creative again, which means it goes back to the default mode network in a sense. And then it sparks creativity. You actually let it go in directions that you would otherwise won't let it, because it doesn't achieve the goal, it's not aligned with the to-do list, like whatever. But when you just let it go wherever it needs to go, your brain will build new synapses, will build new ideas, will basically connect new information that is already in your brain in new ways, so you'll get new ideas. And that is exactly what we want. So now that you've heard all the benefits, again, why is it that we still feel guilty for resting? Because it's so wired in our society. Hustle culture taught us that doing more is always better. But that's bullshit. Rest is not passive. Rest is an active player in your success. Because what we do when we rest is we literally prepare to be creative, to be focused, to be concentrated, to be sharp, to be productive, to be efficient, to be the best human we can be with the best performance we can be. You can't have that when you're only working and when you're only doing, because your brain and your body, your mind literally don't have time to do the work it needs to do to keep you healthy on all levels, mentally, emotionally, physically. Rest is the foundation of long-term success. It's not an add-on. It's not a let's do it when we're retired, right? It is the foundation. And if you don't have that figured out, hello burnout, hello second burnout, hello third burnout, right? I can't even tell you how many people I've talked to who had multiple burnouts and who only came to me after like the second, third, or fourth burnout because nothing has changed. And why hasn't anything changed? Because again, we live in a society where it's praised to work long hours, where it's praised to do more, to work 7 days a week, to just give your everything to a goal. And yes, all of that is great, but also really look after yourself, right? We literally have natural systems built in. You don't even have to do anything for it, but support your natural systems for it to work. Because if you work with your body, with your energy, with these systems that are already built within you, you're going to be so much more productive, so much more efficient on the long term, which means that you are more likely to achieve all of your goals, all of the amazing parts of your vision that you have. But if you burn out along the way, especially a couple of times, you're going to waste so much time, so much precious lifetime, so much precious energy. You're going to burn out your body in a way where it will always take longer to recuperate. We don't want that. That's not the life that you want. You want to have impact. You want to achieve your goals. And I have a way for you to do that that is based on your energy, on your body, that is based on sustainable success. Not just weird, random, let's just take a lot of action and then work 6 days per week and then forget about life for the next 5 years just so that we achieve our goals in the fastest way. It's not about achieving goals in a fast way. It's about achieving goals at your own pace in a sustainable way that you can actually keep up with, because that is the life that you want too. So the next time when you feel guilty for resting, I want you to remind yourself of this. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. It's the foundation that makes productivity possible. And I want you to write this on a post-it and put it somewhere where you can actually see it. Because in the beginning, you will need proof. Since we are wired to think that doing will get us where we want to be, it needs you to consciously decide to rest right now, because that is the actual work that your body and your mind does, that you need to be efficient and productive when it's time for you to work in your working hours, right? So remind yourself of this. This is the foundation. Track yourself while you're doing it, because that is going to give you all the proof that you need to be like, hey, actually, I napped yesterday and afterwards I felt great. I had an amazing, efficient work session. Or, hey, I went for a walk 2 days ago and this walk actually amplified my energy so that I was more focused when I got back to work. And the more good examples you have of this, the more you track that, the easier it is for your system to be like, okay, you know what? I need the rest now and I'm going to give myself the rest without any of the guilt thoughts, without any of the shame, without any of the, oh, I should do this, I should do that, right? And that is exactly what we want. So again, remind yourself, rest is not the opposite of productivity. It's the foundation. It's what makes productivity possible. If you want to know how to properly manage energy instead of your time, then definitely watch the masterclass. And if you're currently thinking about, I'm not sure where I'm at when it comes to like stress levels, I do have a free stress audit for you down below. It takes 5 minutes to fill out and will give you a proper overview of where your stress levels are currently at. I'll see you in the next video.